If you are planning to start a chicken business, you are probably facing the biggest decision every poultry farmer has to make. You have your land, you have your capital, but you do not know whether to go for Kienyeji or layers. Before we dive into the numbers, let us be clear on what these birds actually are. Kienyeji simply means the local breeds, the indigenous chickens that have not been artificially improved or genetically engineered. They are the traditional village chickens that scavenge, grow slowly, and produce both meat and eggs. Layers, on the other hand, are highly commercial, specialized birds. They are biological machines engineered for one specific purpose: to lay an egg almost every single day of the year. To see how these two different birds perform in the real world, let us meet Grace and Daniel. They are both 28 years old, they live in the same rural town outside the city, and they both have a small piece of land, about half an acre each. After working, saving, and carefully planning, they have both managed to put aside exactly 150,000 shillings, which is the equivalent of about 1,000 US dollars. Financially, their starting points are identical. After hearing from friends that she can secure a predictable daily supply of eggs to distribute to local bakeries and supermarkets, Grace decides to go for layers. Daniel, on the other hand, decides to go for Kienyeji. But has Daniel made the right choice? A commercial layer can produce over 300 eggs a year, while a Kienyeji hen might give you half of that production. With this basic information in mind, why would anyone choose a bird that produces less? Who is actually going to build a more profitable business over time? Let us proceed and see. And to help us in decision making, we will track every bag of feed, every real-world expense, and every egg sold. To get even better results, we will do this comparison over a period of 3 years. Now, Grace and Daniel both start by purchasing their first birds. Grace buys 100-day-old layer pullets. Pullets are just young female chickens that have not started laying eggs yet. At 150 Kenyan shillings each, multiplied by 100, that is 15,000 shillings or approximately $100 with the exchange rate at 150 shillings per dollar. But remember, commercial layers require a highly controlled environment. This forces her to spend roughly 120,000 shillings, about $800, building a permanent, well-ventilated layer house with heat lamps, automated drinkers, and secure nesting boxes. Out of her initial 150,000 shillings, Grace only has 15,000 shillings, about $100, left in her bank account to cover feed until the birds start laying. Daniel takes a completely different route. He buys 100-day-old Kienyeji chicks for just 100 shillings each. Why are they cheaper? Because Kienyeji are local breeds. They are not genetically selected like layers, so commercial hatcheries sell them at lower prices to compete. That is 10,000 shillings total, or about $67. But because Kienyeji are a hardy local breed, they do not need a climate-controlled fortress. Daniel builds a simple, secure night shelter using local timber offcuts and wire mesh for just 45,000 shillings or $300. In total, he has spent 55,000 shillings, which is about $367. He still has 95,000 shillings, well over $600, sitting safely in his pocket. Now they enter the rearing phase, and this is where the strict economics of poultry farming reveal themselves. Let us break down the math. Layers are bred for explosive egg production, and to do that, they require expensive high-protein commercial feed every single day. A mature layer flock of 100 birds consumes about 12 kilograms of feed daily. Over a month, that's 360 kilograms. At standard market prices, Grace's feed bill is roughly 25,000 shillings or $167 every single month. Over the first 5 months before they lay a single egg, her total feed cost will cross 125,000 shillings. Because her initial capital is almost gone, she has to dig deep into her monthly salary just to keep the birds fed. This is where many farmers fall into a dangerous trap. My neighbor, Jirani, once tried raising layers and without realizing it, he turned his farm into a social enterprise rather than a business. He was using his Friday paycheck to buy chicken feed, constantly bleeding money and subsidizing the farm from his own pocket without calculating the true return on his capital. Grace has to be very careful to track her expenses, or she will end up doing exactly the same thing. However, Grace's biggest enemy right now is the commercial feed price, but she has a secret weapon available if she chooses to use it. If she learns to formulate her own feed at home using local ingredients like maize germ, soybean meal, and fish omena, a species of small silver-colored freshwater ray-finned fish native to East Africa's Lake Victoria, she could slash this monthly bill by up to 40% and widen her profit margins dramatically. In fact, we will cover exactly how to easily mix your own high-protein DIY chicken feed in a future video, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that strategy. Daniel's Kienyeji chickens eat completely differently. Because he allows them to free range on his half-acre, they scavenge for insects, wild grass, and seeds. Daniel still buys commercial feed to supplement their diet, but they consume roughly a third of what Grace's layers eat. His daily running costs are incredibly low, spending only about 8,000 shillings a month on feed, which is roughly $53. At month 5, Grace's layers start producing, and within weeks, she's consistently collecting about 85 eggs a day from her 100 birds. That's almost 3 full trays. She sells them for 450 shillings or $3 per tray. Let us look at her real numbers now. Grace is bringing in 1,350 shillings daily. Over a month, that's 40,500 shillings or roughly $270 in pure revenue. Her feed bill takes up 25,000 shillings and she sets aside 5,000 shillings for vaccines and vitamins, leaving her with a tight but predictable monthly net profit of 10,500 shillings, which is $70. And here is the absolute superpower of layers. It's a mathematical certainty. Every single day, cash comes in. By month 10, she has recouped her rearing costs, and because the system is so predictable, it's highly scalable. If Grace secures a massive contract with a supermarket and scales her flock from 100 birds to 500 birds, that 10,500 shillings profit suddenly becomes over 52,500 shillings, which is $350. Layers give you the power of bankable, high-volume scale. Daniel, on the other hand, has to wait until month 7 for his Kienyeji hens to start laying. Out of his 100 birds, about 50 are hens. From those, he collects roughly 25 eggs a day, not even a full tray. But here is the crazy twist. When Daniel goes to the market, he commands a premium price. Kienyeji eggs are highly sought after for their rich yellow yolks and organic taste. He sells his trays for 750 shillings, which is roughly $5. His monthly revenue is only about 18,750 shillings or $125. But remember, his feed costs are a fraction of Grace's, sitting at just 8,000 shillings a month. His actual net profit at the end of the month is 10,750 shillings, about $72. He's making almost the exact same net profit as Grace, but by selling far fewer eggs and taking on much less financial risk. But spreadsheets don't account for biology, and we have to look at what happens as we approach the end of year 2. A commercial layer has a strict lifespan of about 100 weeks of viable production. By the end of the second year, Grace's layers are exhausted. Their egg production drops sharply to maybe 40 eggs a day, and they are now eating more money in feed than they produce in eggs. The math no longer makes sense. Grace has to clear her flock. The good bit is, she can also sell her 100 spent birds for 350 to 450 Kenyan shillings each, depending on her sales skills and network. If she's smart, she can fetch about 35,000 to 45,000 shillings. If she uses that cash to buy her next batch of chicks at 15,000 shillings, she pockets 20,000 shillings if she sold at 35,000 or 30,000 shillings if she sold at 45,000. That gives her better margins than the first round where she started from scratch. So at least there's an improvement.
But now she has to start the painful, expensive 5-month rearing cycle all over again with zero income during that period. A layer is a fantastic cash-producing machine, but it is ultimately a depreciating asset. This is where Daniel's Kienyeji flock deploys its greatest financial weapon, the compounding multiplication effect. Grandma always says that a local chicken farm is like a growing forest. If you leave it alone, it plants its own trees. Kienyeji chickens are dual purpose, meaning they are valuable for both eggs and meat. Furthermore, they retain their natural instinct to incubate their own eggs. Over the last 2 years, Daniel did not just sell eggs. He allowed some of his hens to sit on their eggs and hatch chicks. Because they scavenge, the cost to raise these new chicks is almost zero. Daniel's original flock of 100 has multiplied exponentially. By year 3, without ever going back to the hatchery to buy new day-old chicks, his flock has grown to over 300 birds. How is that possible, you may ask? Let me break it down. A healthy Kienyeji hen can go broody, meaning she wants to sit on eggs and hatch them about 2 to 3 times a year. Each time, she can successfully hatch and raise about 10 to 12 chicks. Let us be conservative and say each hen raises 20 chicks in a year. Daniel has 50 hens. If just 30 of them go broody successfully, that is 30 hens multiplied by 20 chicks each, which gives us 600 new chicks. Now, factor in a 30% loss due to predators, disease, and weak chicks. That leaves 420 surviving birds. Add those to his original 100, and by year 3, Daniel has over 500 birds without spending a single shilling on purchasing new chicks. Interestingly, if half of those hatched chicks are roosters, it is an advantage for him. As they reach maturity, he can sell them for premium Kienyeji meat. A fully grown, free-ranged Kienyeji rooster easily fetches 1,500 shillings or $10 in the market. That is triple the price of Grace's spent layers. By year 3, Daniel's farm is a self-sustaining ecosystem generating multiple streams of income through premium eggs, high-value meat sales, and continuous natural reproduction. So, who made the right choice? Grace built a high-turnover factory. If you are highly disciplined, ruthlessly manage your feed waste, and want a predictable, weekly cash flow to service contracts, layers are unbeatable. Their true value unlocks when you scale up to hundreds or thousands of birds. Daniel, on the other hand, built a resilient, compounding asset. He accepted lower daily egg volumes in exchange for a massive reduction in feed costs and the ability to command premium market prices. His path to wealth was letting nature do the heavy lifting, allowing his flock to multiply naturally without requiring constant injections of fresh capital. Neither choice is wrong, but they require entirely different mindsets. If you want a business that feels like a predictable monthly paycheck and you have the capital to sustain it, layers are for you. But if you want a low-risk business that grows itself over time and protects you from the crushing pressure of daily feed bills, the Kienyeji system is incredibly powerful. The winner is not the one who buys the best breed. The winner is the farmer who truly understands the cold, hard math behind the bird they chose. If this comparison helped you, subscribe to Farm Rafiki. Let me know in the comments, are you Team Layers or Team Kienyeji? And what is the biggest challenge you are facing in your poultry business right now?